I'm also going to be recording this lesson, so you will be able to find it online if this becomes too much for you as well. First thing we need to take a look at after you got your document up here, we need to make sure we're working with the right workspace and the right windows. So let's make sure that everybody has chosen typography as their workspace. That's going to help us out a ton. Make sure that all your Johnston windows are closed as well. Let's go ahead and open up another window. So we're going to go to Window, go down to the drop-down menu, and we're going to go to where it says Type and Tables. Type and Tables. We're going to open up the one that says Table. Type Table, click on Table. This panel should have 3 panels inside of it. It should say Type, Type Styles, and Cell Styles. We'll deal with that in a second. First, we need to understand what makes a tile, or what makes a table. So there's a blank down on the bottom of the sheet there. It says how to insert a table. What we can write down is that we need to first create a container, or a placeholder, for the table. So essentially you can make this into your own words, but you need to make a container, and then you need to select it with your text tool like we're going to type in it normally, and then we're going to insert the table. So let's demo that real quick so then you guys can figure out what to write. So make yourself a text box that is 10 picas wide by 6 picas tall. I lied. Make it 30 picas wide by 15 picas tall. 30 picas wide, 15 picas tall. Thirty picas wide, 15 picas tall. So if you look at the screen, you should have something similar to that. Kind of place it in the middle of the page. So now we've got this container, right? We've created this container. This container can now hold on to different things. This container could potentially hold a picture, it can hold text, or it can hold our table. So what we need to do is get our text tool up, and we need to click inside of the box that we just created. What? 30 by 15. So we've got our text tool. It's blinking inside of that box. We could potentially go ahead and start typing right now, but we don't want to type. We want to insert a table. So we're going to go click on the words table across the top file menu bar. And we're going to go insert table. Once you click on that, an insert table dialog box will show up. Right now, yours probably defaults to like 4x4. Who does not have this box up on the screen and need help? You need to click in your box with your text tool, and then go to Table up top, and click on Insert Table. Then you should have this dialog box on your screen. Any questions at this point? Does somebody need help? Okay, so let's go ahead and create a 6-row box by a 4-column, so 6x4, and click OK. Great. So let's talk about formatting. What can we do to these boxes? Right now, they're pretty uniform. They've all got the same width and they've all got the same height. So, can we change the size of these? Yes. Are we? Yes. Let's first take our cursor. We're going to go to that first cell, and I'm going to get a double arrow. This double arrow will allow me to resize the box any way I want it. I can change the width, I can change the height by grabbing on it and moving it around. Let's say that I want to select the entire first column. The easiest way to do that is to take your cursor, bring it towards the top of the first cell. It'll turn into an arrow, a large black arrow that points down. Once you see that click once, it'll select the entire column. Say I want to select the first row. I go to the side of the first row. I'll get the same black arrow, but it's going to be pointing sideways. Click on it. I'll go ahead and select the whole row. What if I want to select all of the boxes at once? I go to the upper left-hand corner. I get a diagonal black arrow. So one can conclude when you see the big black arrow, it means you're going to select something. Let's go back and select just the first column. This is when we're going to start using that type box, or the table box that's up here. We got our table box, our table panel. Right now, about halfway down, there's a box that says at least. Did y'all see that? We want to take that and we want to put it on exactly. Because in here, we're going to be using our ruler, so we'll know exact measurements on how wide we want these boxes to be. So if we had to duplicate a project that came in for a customer, this is how we do it. We're going to push exactly. I know I need the box to be, let's type in for width, 10 pica. Type in 10p. That should change the width of the first column to 10p. Select the second column. Make that 5p for me, please. Make the third column 5p. And the last column, make that 10p. So you should have 2 columns at 10p, 2 columns at 5p. All the row height, I like row height to 4p. Some things are going to happen here. Every row height should be 4p. What's the easiest way to do this? Anybody want to tell me? Select all of them. To select all of them, I went up to the upper left-hand corner of my cells, and I clicked. It selected all of them. Then I go to my table panel, and in my width, or my height column, I type in 4p. Some things are going to happen here. If we notice, we now get a red box in the corner, right? What does that red box mean? Anybody know? Too much to fit in the box. Technically, it's called overset. So you've got stuff that's outside of your box. We can fix that really quick. Everybody get your black arrow. With the box being selected as an object, right-click on it, go Fitting, Fit Frame to Content. You got to have it selected as an object, though. You can't have it selected as text anymore. So you need to go get your black arrow and select it as an object. And Fit Frame to Content. What that does is it changes your container size. Automatically. Okay, everybody. Yes. Okay, I want you to go ahead and type your name in the first cell in the first row, please. Type your name in the first cell of the first row. Who wants to tell me about the placement and alignment that's going on right now? Tell me a little bit about the text. It's in the top left-hand corner. Is it left, center, or right alignment? Left? Okay, we want to change it so it sits in the center of the box. There's a couple of things we need to change. Everybody take a look at that table panel we've got going on, that table panel. Halfway down, you've got our vertical alignment. Right now it says align top. Let's go ahead and push align center. Great. You also put it on the bottom if you want, put it in the center, or you can do justify. We want it to be centered. Next thing, right below that, you've got some other pieces that can be affected. It's called your cell insert. You've got a top, a bottom, left, and right. If I were to start messing with these and increase them a lot, you notice they're linked right now, and my text now goes off the page because I've put too much buffer. Essentially what it's doing is putting a buffer zoner on it. We want to make that 0 for all of them. What that does is it takes it and puts it right against the edge of the cell. Now we need to do our justification left and right, or our alignment. Does anybody want to tell me how to do that? Go to my paragraph panel. Very good. Open up my paragraph panel, and I can push the centered button. And what that has done is it has centered my text in the middle of my box. So we've got that. Let's go ahead and change the font to Helvetica and make it size 16. Size 16 and Helvetica. HEL, just type that and push enter. It'll show up. Go ahead and type your last name in the first box of the second row. Just give me a word that fits on a single line. Type your last name in the second row, first cell. It's got to be that way, people. I need some words in the second box. Underneath the first one. Some things we can notice right now. It automatically went back to the default settings or style that the box has applied to it. Every shape we create has a basic style for it. Styles can change depending on where they're being used. You can create your own styles and we can apply that style to that. What we're going to go ahead and do is create a couple different styles right now. We're going to go back, click on the very first cell that we created, put our text cursor in there in the middle of the word. Over on the right-hand side, we've got a character style box, right? Let's bring up character styles, bring it out onto the screen. Right next to the trash can on that panel, there's a tab that says New Style. Go ahead and click on that. What that does is it creates a character style 1. double click character style 1. It'll bring up a box for you. This box is really, really powerful. So when we're doing this document, you're probably going to want to create a character style. You're going to want to create a paragraph style and a table style. You can also use this for other things that you create. So if you're making your cover pages, you can create a character style that you can save and then import to each one of your documents, and then they'll all look the same with the same text, the same size, the same color. Very powerful stuff. So let's go ahead and name this header 1. Also, let's take a look at the stuff that's on the left-hand side of it. You got basic character formatting options. So it says that we've got a Helvetica font, font style is medium, and it tells us our size. We can do some other things in here. We can do character color, we can do underlining options, strike through, that kind of stuff. Some real basic stuff. So what we could write down for character style, there's a little, I left a blank down there on the sheet. We can come up with a definition for it. Character style allows us to add character formattings like color, size, and font to it. So we can add font family, size, color, and affect some of the basic attributes of a font family. That's what a style does. The cool thing about a style is if I go back and update that style later after I've created like a 10-page document, and if I've applied that style to certain parts of the text, it updates the entire document at once. It's a real time saver. So let's go ahead and click OK. So we have applied this style. So we've taken the style that we've got applied to our name in that first cell. We've now created a style for it called header 1 that we can apply to other pieces. But that has not done anything with the paragraph style, right? We haven't, that style we just created, there was nowhere in there that it talked about its alignment, its offset or inset on the tab. So let's bring up paragraph styles as well. Let's create a paragraph style for this one. So click on the new paragraph style icon. It's going to come up as paragraph style 1. Let's double click that, name that header 1. Click OK. Finally, we need to, since we're working in a table, apply the table style. So in the table panel, there's a table style. Click the new icon. Double click that, call that one header 1. You notice a theme going on here? All the pieces that deal with the character formatting for that piece are being called header 1. So if we had another part of our table that was a different style, we'd call that header 2, or be more specific, be like box 1, box 2, however you want to set it up. Go ahead and click OK. What? Changes text. So if your text is changing in that first box that you created, that's because you're clicking on the basic style that's there. Every style has its basic one that you cannot delete. So if we're looking at paragraph style, it says basic paragraph. If it says character styles, it's going to say none. If you click on those words when you've got one of your when you got your cursor in text, it's going to remove any styles that were done to it. So, if you go to that second box that we created, put your cursor in the text, and push paragraph styles, it should format that for you. should center it left and right, and it will apply on the side. Yeah. So, now that we've created this paragraph style, let's apply it to all of the boxes. So, what I want you to do, look at my screen. I'm going to select all of my boxes. I'm going to come over to my paragraph style. Click header 1. That's then now applied to all of those. I also want to apply, I haven't figured out how to apply vertical alignment to it yet. I was able to do it last night, but I can't reproduce it here. I got to look into it again. But just click on the align to center in your table box, and it'll bring it. So every one of these boxes now has paragraph style. Header 1 has been applied to it. Then it has vertical alignment. So if I type in another box here, you see how it's automatically going to be in Helvetica 16. It's going to be centered left and right, and it's going to be vertical. It's going to be centered vertically. That's the first thing we need to understand about this. Next thing we need to understand is how to change the stroke weight that makes up this cell. So everybody right now, select your object, select it as an object, get your black arrow, select it. Now push W. Your background should turn gray. So what we are in right now is called preview mode. The next thing that we do, we're going to have to go back into preview mode here in a second. You notice when you're in preview mode, you don't see active selections around your table. So go back to your text tool right now. Go back to your text tool. I want you to select, look at my screen. I'm looking at the very bottom rows here. I'm going to select these three cells. I'm going to go to the top of the screen. If you look at my cursor, if you guys can see this up here, it's really important. You've got a box up there. There's not really a specific name for it, but what it is it's showing you what lines you're going to affect when you change the stroke. So what I want you to do, if it's blue, it means it's going to be effective. If it's not blue, it's not going to be effective. We're going to turn off the top line and the most right line on that rectangle. What? I can't hear you. You need to select it with your text tool again. So whenever you're going to be affecting the table, it's always done through the text tool. Once you've got that chosen, go ahead and put in 0 for your stroke weight. 0 for your stroke weight. Then click off, select it as an object, and push W. It should look like this. So you're going to end up with cells that are there but don't have a stroke around them. So this is how you can make different pieces. So if you look at our document that we're going to be recreating, you have to create a spot for the competitor's signature and the scorer's signature. So that's technically all a row, but you notice how now I've just got the bottom of it turned on. So to get the bottom turned back on, let's select it as a, select those 3 rows again. I'll get you in a second. I'm going to turn off my vertical ones, just leave my bottom on, and apply a stroke weight to it. Then click off again. And now I've got my line back going across the bottom. So you can affect which lines show up by determining which ones are highlighted in blue. Everybody go into preview mode. Once you think you got it done, I want to come around and check and make sure that you got it done correctly. Okay, I think we have really covered a lot of material today. I want to just kind of wrap things up real quick. Let's take our focus away from the computer and let's look at the sheet in front of you right now. Let's focus on the top half, the part that does not have the notes. If you take this and fold it in half, hot dog style, you're left with a scorecard minus all the stuff on the bottom. The top part is what you are recreating. So, you can see that there are a couple things in red. It says bottom edge of document, do not reproduce line. I put that black line in there so you guys know that that represents the edge of the paper technically. I also got some other stuff that says measure from this edge. So when the document's in front of you, you're going to be measuring from the left edge and the top edge to get your stuff. You may want to make a note of this. I used the upper left as my reference point when I was making those text boxes. Upper left is my reference point. So each one of those tables is a different text box. If we look at the very first one in the upper left-hand corner, it appears as though there's going to be 11 columns and 2 rows. You can make note of that if you would like. Down below, you're going to have 5 rows, 11 columns for the ones on the left. The ones on the right have an extra cell. Make sure you note that. There's 12 columns for them instead of 11. If we take a look at that dashed line that goes across the page, I simply use the line tool and I applied a black stroke to it. The stroke weight itself is 0.5 PTs. 0.5 PTs. And it has a dash of 6 PT. The stroke weight of the dashed line is 0.5 PTs, and it has a dash of 6 PT, which I'll go over tomorrow on how to make a dashed line. I haven't done that yet. So write that down. Those 0.5 for its stroke weight, 6 PT for its dash. That's the 6 PT dash just determines how long the dash line is going to be and how much space is between it. I'll show you guys how to do that tomorrow. It's inside of the strokes box. It's pretty easy. The other stuff, where it says time and T, each one of those is a separate text box, and then I just used the line tool and I made a line there. Stroke weight is 0.5 for those as well. Everything's 0.5 on this document for stroke weight. Even for the tables, the lines in the table there, those are also 0.5. Make note of that. That doesn't say that anywhere on there. 0.5. All of the text on the document is Helvetica size 9, regular. Not bold, not italic, regular. So if we move down to the back side of the sheet, or the bottom side where it says measurements and table formatting notes, document size, anybody want to take a guess? What? Anybody? We all know this. We do. No. We got one part of it right. What size is this? We took an 8.5 by 11, folded it in half. It's 11 by 4.25 is my document size. So write that down. 11 by 4.25 inches. It's a landscape document that you're going to be creating. There's no margins being used in InDesign when we create this document. Unit of measure, picas. That's what everything's going to be measured in. Tomorrow we'll do a quick little review, and then I'll let you have at it. Like I said, it took me about an hour and a half to do this last night myself. You're going to be using the ruler to figure out where everything sits for the tables. I'll do a quick demo on how to get that tomorrow, and then you'll be off on your own making this. Any questions? Good job.